Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Tracy. I'm Lauren.
I'm Matt.
I'm Ralph.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Grandpa.
I'm Gavin.
I'm Joel.
I'm Megan.
I'm Grandpa.
I'm Aunt Becky.
And we're some of the Veggie boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. I just got finished talking with Dad. He was going over a few seed orders. He was mentioning that he needed to touch base with a few farmers, so he was going over his information so that he could see them today. I think he mentioned 4 or 5 local farmers that he needed to talk with. There's a lot of work that goes into getting seed orders ready. Besides that, I have made my way down into the farm market. I'm just gonna get started with what we do every day. I'm gonna vacuum and then get this farm market set up. Floors are all swept. Now I need to clean off this table and sanitize it. And following that, I'm gonna have to pull everything out of the cooler. Now this morning, Grammy is in the kitchen working on some stuff. We have fruit cakes over here, and then she's also getting the dough ready for some nut breads. How's it going this morning?
Good.
Oh, there's a lot of dough here. Before I could finish setting up the store, I needed a cup of coffee. Now I've got my cup of coffee, the store can get set up. The farm market is all set up. Now that we have everything out, it's a little easier to look and see what we need. It's a lot easier to order stuff from the wholesaler when you can see everything. So we just got our order for the wholesaler all put together. And this is a good opportunity to look at orders that we have from restaurants, just to make sure that we have everything we need. As you can see, we've got a wet and sloppy day on our hand. At the moment, we just got some milk mixed up for the calves, so we're heading over to greenhouse number 6. For a few of these calves, it's actually gonna be the last time they're getting their milk. And since we're taking them off of the milk, we're also gonna be moving them from greenhouse number 6 into greenhouse number 5. Now, I'm not gonna be helping Dad with feeding at the moment. I'm actually gonna grab some sawdust. Some of the calves need bedding this morning, so we thought it would be a good idea to get it taken care of early. Fine. Sounds good. We're gonna grab silage in a few minutes, but before we do that, we're gonna move those calves around. Why is there grease on the door handle, of all places? Sawdust did the trick. No, go up, up, down. Come on, up the hill. Why are you letting all these calves out?
That's my job.
That worked pretty well. We got our 5 new calves moved over. When they're a little younger, we like to have them by themselves. That way we can make sure that they're eating okay and that they're healthy. When they're in a group setting like this, it's a little harder to monitor them individually. But now that they're eating fine, they're not having any issues, we feel comfortable putting them together. Can you tell this is one of our favorite pastimes, watching the calves run around?
We have 14 calves in here. That means 11 bull calves and 3 heifers.
Now look who takes care of his dad. I made sure the tractor was so far to the one side that he could get in here to get sawdust.
Andrew does.
All right, who keeps pulling the hay all out on the ground? You're gonna be getting in trouble. Just got the cattle all fed. Now, as you've seen, we got the calves and the cattle done. The chickens have already been finished. So that wraps it up for taking care of the animals this morning. Even though it's sloppy, we have enough bedding down. So everything is pretty dry, which is important on a day like today.
Look what I found.
At the moment, we're in the back of the barn and we're just working on fixing some boards that we have. This is the group of pastured cattle that we have. We have a mix of large cattle and smaller cattle in there, and we like to make sure that there's a section for the smaller cattle to get to where there's none of the larger cattle. We have a hay feeder in here. We also have some feeders on the ground that we put grain into, and that's just to make sure that the smaller cattle can get food at all times. When they're out with the larger cattle, they get pushed around a little bit and they can't get access to the feeders as easily. So we like to make sure that we have this little space boarded off for them to get back, that they can eat and they don't have any issues. At the moment, we're talking about our cow-calf operation and how we want to get it started. We threw around the idea of getting a bull, but where we are, we feel that's not the best idea. We'd have to do a lot of updates to be able to contain a bull. Since we're not going to be able to have the bull, we're going to be artificially inseminating the cattle. And we need to find the best place to hold them. We have a head gate that we can use, but we just need an area where it would be best. So that's what we've all been doing. We've been standing around discussing the best spot, and we think that back corner is going to work out great for us. There's only a brief window where the cow can be bred, so we're just trying to make sure that we have an area for it. That way we can get it taken care of, so we can have the best success.
You don't need.
Come on, Ralph, you got it. You don't need How did you get so good at wrangling calves?
Been doing it my whole life.
Would you say it's a great experience?
It's a grade A experience. I highly recommend trying it sometime.
Now for the rest of the morning, we're gonna be moving on to a different job, and that's gonna be grinding horseradish. Now to make horseradish, we have to get everything prepared. We have sanitized our table, and now we are peeling the horseradish. We have already gone through and pressure washed the horseradish to get all of the dirt off, and then we go through with knives or a peeler, and we take out the outside layer of bark. We remove it from the horseradish, just like that. And then once we remove the outside layer, we'll go through and chop it up into smaller chunks so that it can go through our grinder easier. Now this stuff is very fibrous and it is not easy to grind. So even though we have a very powerful grinder, we don't want our chunks too large. Because if you have ever clogged up a grinder with horseradish before, it is a terrible experience. Making horseradish is something our family has done for a really long time. I remember doing it since I was really little. There are a few different recipes that you can use to make horseradish. We personally just like using the root and vinegar. There's a lot of jobs you can do together as a family, but I remember making sauerkraut and horseradish. Those are the two big ones. We've done this since we were really little, and we've always done it together as a group, and it's always been a fun experience. One of the only issues with cutting up and preparing horseradish is that it gives off a very strong odor, and this will mess up your sinuses, and it will cause your eyes to water. This stuff is very strong, but that's also a good thing, because the more it bothers you while you cut it up, you know it's gonna be a stronger horseradish, and that's what people like. Now, an interesting fact about horseradish, it actually gets its name from a German word, which I'm not going to try and pronounce, but eventually they started calling it Meerradish, and from Meerradish it moved into horseradish. So it went from being called Meerradish into horseradish, even though it's poisonous for horses, which is kind of interesting. We just got all our horseradish cubed up. Now it's at the perfect size to go through the grinder, but it is lunchtime, so we're gonna head up and eat and then grind this stuff after lunch. We have made it up for lunch. I better start eating, I'm a little late. We are having chili. We just got done with lunch. Now one of our viewers sent us some mats and we've got them in place. I don't know, Grammy, are these gonna make you comfortable standing on them?
Oh yeah, nice.
Oh, look at that. Feel different?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, they got one mat right here, one mat over there. We also took one of the mats and put it out here. And then the rest of the mats we put in the back for the other girls. It's gonna make things a lot easier on the girls and on Joel and Gavin as they make cookies tomorrow. The girls were all really excited about their floor mats. But now that we are done with lunch, we are down around back We have to grind that horseradish, but we also have a few other jobs we need to take care of. We need to wash and bag some potatoes, and Dad's not gonna be around this afternoon. He had to visit with a few farmers in the area to talk about their seed orders. But even though the weather has not changed, we'll have plenty to do this afternoon.
Yeah, that's 50 pounds.
Probably weighs as much as you. We just got our 4th, 5th, and we're working on our 6th bag. We needed to wash some more potatoes, but before we could do that, we had to empty out our bin. Now for tomorrow, we have an order for 12 bags, which is what we're getting an early start on. And we're gonna need to wash potatoes because we don't have any in a bin. So that's what we're gonna work on now. We just got another bin of potatoes washed. The potato reserves are getting pretty low. We have 4 bins left, which is pretty cool if you ask me. I did not expect to go through the potatoes that fast, but that's it. While we were working on washing potatoes, Matthew was over here grinding horseradish. You can see we have our grinder right here with the opening in the top. We drop the chunks of horseradish in, it grinds it, and then we like to have a bag over the spout so that all the fumes from grinding it stays in the bag. If that bag was to break open, whoo, there would be tears. Are you okay, Matt? You're crying.
Yeah.
What's wrong? Oh, it got me! Ow! That stuff is so strong.
I just ground the white horseradish, which is just horseradish, and then we add vinegar to it, and that's all it is. And now I'm gonna grind a smaller batch that we're going to mix with red beets and vinegar, and it's supposed to be not as hot as the white, but I don't believe that at all. So we always just stick a bag on the end, and then I have a rubber band right here. And that really seals in the flavor, because if you don't have this on there and you're just grinding it into a bucket or tub, you wouldn't be able to see.
When you're peeling the root is one thing, but when you really start to grind it, that's when all the fumes come out and it just gets rough. And it may sound like we're being ridiculous, like we're being babies, but it is not easy. Anybody that grinds horseradish at home, they'll tell you it's a rough experience.
It's okay to cry.
It was a little too dark to film, but we've just spent the last hour trying to get this head gate moved. It was pretty locked in there. We finally got all of the pieces pulled out, and now we'll be able to install it somewhere else, but it was very difficult. Right now I'm sitting with Aunt Rhonda. She is making these cookies called pizzelles. They are really, really good. They have like a slight licorice flavor to them. You might have had them before. They are really, really good. I love these things so much. We can make them whenever we want, but we only make them at this time of the year. And they're good. Say please. We've all been working here in the farm market, just taking care of customers. So I want to show you. Look how dark it is. It is super dark outside. And that means it's a perfect time to close up the farm market. So we're getting everything pulled off the shelves and put onto our pallets.
Hey, actually, I know why it's so dark out.
Why is it so dark out?
The sun went down.
So Ralph, how do you feel about lettuce?
I don't know, but my food eats it.
Man, it is really raining out here. Oh, I'm gonna have to get wet. We just made it up into the house for dinner. Grammy, what are we having tonight?
We are having a beef pot pie.
We've got 2 beef pot pies and some cream cabbage.
Do you think we need more light bulbs in our kitchen or not?
We now have got everybody coming out to the table, so you guys know what that means. This is where we're gonna end the video today. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, I thought you knew.